I just started the YouTube. All right. How are you today, Fatima? How's the weather in Iran? It's cold here too. It's minus 9 Celsius right now. Yesterday it was minus 16. And it's going to snow today again. Do I have any news about Teacher AS? I don't. I don't really know what happened to Teacher AS. I can try to ask and find out, but I think he burned himself out a little bit too much, which is easy to do sometimes on Hello Talk. How do I say this? I'm learning that social media, to be a social media person, you have to have a boat that can navigate difficult waters. And you have to be able to guide that boat in difficult waters. And if you're not aware of that, and I think most people are not, I think most people that use social media or do live streams, I think they go into it just thinking that you can just be yourself and that's okay. But it's not, to be honest, because you have to have a persona. And the persona is what allows you to guide yourself through social media. And if you don't have a persona, it's easy to get emotionally overdrawn. So I know he was going to start studying in medical school too. So it could be he's just busy. It could be. Could be he's just busy. But he had, a big heart and a tendency, I think, to open it a little too much and maybe to be a little too affected by what happens here. But I will ask a few people. I'll ask a couple people I know, and maybe somebody has some news about him. But I haven't heard anything about him since before I left for my vacation. What happened in California? They have terrible, terrible wildfires. But that's very, very far away from where I live. Thousands of miles away from me. Well, a couple thousand miles, probably. So, welcome to my live stream. If you're new, hello. My name is Teacher Mark. What do I think? How the fire started? Who knows? Day Day. The western part of the United States, in particular California and some of those southwestern states, they're very, very, very hot and dry climates. It's very hot and dry. And if it's very hot and dry, it doesn't take much for a fire to start. And then they also have very strong wind. So if a small fire starts anywhere, the wind makes it a big fire in seconds. So that's what's happening in California right now. Hello, Fluke. Happy New Year. 新年快乐. You have a friend from California, you haven't heard from him? Well, California is a big state, so he might be fine. Maybe he's not located near the fires. Thank you, Liam. I think my Chinese is okay. So if you have questions about English, you can ask me. Hello, Babinka. Hello, Andy and Fluke. Ni hao. Hello, Nyla. That's a pretty name. Hello, Sailing and Pien. Sawadika. And is it Razia? That's an interesting name. And Day Day, hello. And Liam, hello. And Amanda, hello. Paulina, privyet. Hello, Aaron and Tina. How to notice your progress. Sometimes you feel stuck. Record yourself. If you want to track your progress, record yourself every day and then listen to the progress week by week, right? So don't listen to everyone. Just listen to like once a month you can go and listen to your old tapes and listen to hear your improvement. But you should record yourself. Again, you need to remember that learning a language is like learning a musical instrument. You're trying to perfect sound. So if you want to perfect sound, then you should record yourself every chance you can. That way you can listen to it to review and see how you can improve. Okay, so anytime you can record your practicing, you should. You have some questions. Okay, what questions do you have? You don't got questions, you have questions. What are your questions? What's the verb of the noun success? To succeed? Succeeding? To succeed is the verb for success. I must succeed. I'm drinking iced coffee. And hello, Bue. Sure. Okay, so hello. If you've never been on my live streams before, hello, my name is Teacher Mark. I am a teacher. I have a lot of experience. I've been teaching English since 2009. I've been teaching since 1994. So if you have questions about English, grammar, vocabulary, whatever, you can ask me your questions. Or if you want to talk to me, that would be okay today. Today's live stream is called A Friend in Every Corner because I have about 74,000 followers here. And I want to have as many followers, as many friends as I can. The more followers I have, the more friends I have, right? I have actual friends who I can visit, right? So that's why I like to use this live stream, is to try to talk to people and help you with your problems if you have problems or questions about English or whatever, but also to just make friends around the world. So advice about how to master words and expressions quickly. Liam, you need to create a system of repetitive practice. Repetitive, varied practice. That's the secret, okay? So you need to think about how can you use the one word, but try to come up with 5 or even 10 different ways to use that word through writing, through reading, through listening, through speaking, videos, books, apps, whatever method that you can to experience that word, right? So if you want to master words and expressions, then you need to have a multi-layered, varied system of practice. Okay? That's what will make it stay in your brain. Okay? What is the noun of the verb own? That's an interesting question. I think owned would just be it, but it's only in a past tense form. Ownership. Yeah, duh. Ownership. Ownership would be the noun verb or noun form of the verb own. Hello, Zainab. It's snowing, but I'm drinking iced coffee and wearing short sleeves. Well, they are long sleeves, but I have them pulled up. And I'm inside, and it's not cold in here. We have heat, so it's not cold inside the house. It's cold outside. And I like iced coffee. Adjective form would be owned. Those are owned things. The owned things of him would be an adjective. They are owned by him, right? To describe them as owned. How can you learn phrasal verbs? Learn phrasal verbs in groups based on one shared word, right? So pick up, pick on, pick through, get up, get in, get out, get on, get over, right? So you're using all the ones that have pick, all the ones that have get, all the ones that have go, all the ones that have whatever, you know? Do them in groups based on one shared word, and then also learn a few, learn them in small groups. Now, how many can you learn is up to you. Some people can do 1 or 2 or 3 every day. Some people, they can only do 1 or 2 or 3 a week, right? But they take time. They're like idioms. You have to practice them just by adding them little by little. Okay? Can I pronounce the word figure? Figure, 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 figure. The adjective of employ is employed, or let's see. Yeah, employed. Just to double check. You can teach me. You can teach me what? What do you want to teach me? And hello, Moon. Okay, let's see. Muhammad Ontik Islam would like to talk with me. Raise your hand, Muhammad, if you want to talk with me. Day, can you not look these up on the internet? You know, that's all I'm doing, Day. I'm typing in your words into the Google, and it just, Google gives me the answer. So, you want the adjective form of the verb promote. Promotional. It's okay, Day, but I mean, that's all I'm doing is just Googling it. So you can get these answers from Google. You don't need me. Promotional. You want to know how to practice speaking. Sunshine. 如果你要练习说英文，我觉得这是一点难的，因为很多中国人他们住在一个城市，有很少外国人，所以如果你要练习说英文，你需要练习想英文。OK， 不可以说的，因为没有人，可是可以想的。听得懂吗？OK， 这是为什么我可以说我可以说中文。我住在美国。可是每天我可以想中文 ，OK， 练习想。如果我要说练习想中文，我也可以说什么Let me think. 可以说想，可以也说什么？认为吗？可以说认为吗？可以的吗 ？OK， 谢谢。OK， so 试试看，每天你可以试试看，认为英文 ，OK。And yes, Liam said you can practice English with AI. 也可以啊， 也可以用 AI 可以说话跟 AI，OK？、In my opinion, what's the base of learning English, grammar, vocabulary, or, well, Fayez, in my opinion, the base of learning language is reading, writing, listening, speaking, thinking, grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. There are 8 base areas of language: reading, writing, listening, speaking, thinking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Reading, writing, listening, thinking. Sorry, reading, writing, listening, speaking, thinking. Grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation. Those are the 8 areas you need to have to be able to learn English or any other language. What's the adjective of the verb retire? Retired. Yeah, retired. Okay. How do you read it? Huh? Babinka? Samala. Yes, the 8. Those are what I call the 8 parts of language. The 8 parts of language. Hello, Young. Howjo Bojenla. Hello, Som. I'm fine. Annyeonghaseyo. Hello, Ari. Hola. Hello, ha. Okay. So if you have questions, you can ask me your questions. If you want to raise your hand and come talk to me, you can do that too. Don't be scared. Why be scared? What's the point? You want to practice your English, right? So come practice your English. Chicago Getter. I think I recognize that one. Do I know you? I think I know you. Your photo looks familiar. Interrupt. Huh? Interrupt. Interrupt. Rupt. Okay? Yusuf, don't be weird. This is a classroom. Don't be weird. Yes, I'm a musician. I'm a drummer, Natty. What do you think are the ways to prepare for the IELTS or to learn a new language? Thank you. Wow, those are 2 big questions. So to prepare for the IELTS, and 1, you should try to get good preparation books. The companies that I recommend for preparation books for the IELTS are Kaplan, Barron's. Try that again. Barron's. And Cambridge. Those 3 companies all make great preparation books for the IELTS or the TOEFL test. Okay, Kaplan, Barron's, and Cambridge. That's 1. 2, you need to practice at least 6 months to 1 year in advance. If you want to take the IELTS test, I think you need a good 6 months to a year to prepare. Even if you're really good, even if your English is really good, I still think you should prepare 6 months in advance. It's a big test. It's a difficult test. It's expensive. You should prepare well. Okay? 3, if you can find a teacher that specializes in IELTS prep, that would be beneficial. If you can afford it and you can find one, then you should do that. 4, when preparing for a test, you should always focus on your weaknesses. Focus on improving your weaknesses. So if you're good at speaking and writing, great. That's great, but that's not what you need to practice before the test. You need to practice your reading and your listening. Okay, if you're great at speaking and writing, wonderful, but that's not what you should be practicing a lot of. You should be practicing a lot of what you're not good at. Okay? So those are some of my basic tips for how to prepare for the IELTS. Okay? And then how to learn a new language, and you're going to have to wait until I finish my book and read my book, because I have a lot to say about that. I'm working on it. Hello, Harry. Fayez wants to know, is it important that we know the stress of the words? I don't think it's critical to worry about it. I think that most of the time they naturally will come out, okay? I think that here's one tip I will give you. In general, I want you to always think about your sentences moving down the stairs. So as I speak, you can hear my pitch is getting lower and the words are going down the stairs, right? So my speech has this pattern of high pitch to low pitch as I state things. So if you use a basic principle that the beginning of the sentence is higher than the end of the sentence, if it's a statement, then your stress tones will probably be okay most of the time. There will be a few words that don't follow that rule, and so it might confuse you, but it's a general good rule. Which English novel do I recommend for improving your English? Nyla, that depends on your level. You should read something that's within your level. So I can't tell you because I don't know what level you are. Mohammed, we don't talk about religion or politics here on Hello Talk, okay? So no religion talk here, okay? My book, Val, and you can't buy it yet because I haven't finished it yet. I'm still writing it. Okay? You're a beginner. If you're a beginner, like what level beginner? Here, if you're a beginner, Nyla, then here's what I would recommend. You should go to this website, eslfast.com. Go to eslfast.com. That website has about 3,000 short stories for beginner to intermediate level. That's better than a book for you. Okay? Good night, Fluke. Take care, my friend. One. What will the name of my book be? I'm not exactly sure yet. I have a few ideas, but I haven't decided yet. I want to keep that a secret. In Vietnamese, we can compare people with animals like fat as a pig. Is in English the same? Yes, it is. Yeah, we say exactly the same thing. He's fat as a pig. It's a little rude. It's a little bit rude, depending on what you're saying. You could say she's fast as a cat, and that's a positive one, right? You're giving a compliment. Fat as a pig is not a compliment, right? So, yeah. Yes, you can. We use the same thing, okay? When we studied English, we used headway. What is headway, Valeria? I love that name, by the way. Such a pretty name. Is headway like a program or what do you mean you used headway? I'm not familiar. Is that a website or a program for reading? Okay, it's a series of books. I'm not familiar. You know, there are a million different series of books, book series, I should say, for learning English. There are millions of them. It's impossible to know them all. How can you prepare for the IELTS for free? Go online and find whatever you can, Tina. Doing that is possible. But you must be very diligent, dedicated, and focused. And you must be willing to go on the internet and dig to find everything you can that's free for practice. Okay, so if you're a lazy person, then you cannot prepare for the IELTS for free. Okay? You either have to have money or not be lazy. When I was a chef, were there any methods, skills, or inspirations that could be applied to English teaching or drumming? I love cooking. So I was never a chef officially. I call myself a cook. And I think that being a chef is a much... I have too much respect for chefs that I won't call myself a chef ever. I'm a cook. I love cooking. But... yes, there are many, many, many crossovers between cooking and music and language learning. In my book, specifically in my book, I'm making many parallels between music and language learning. That's what almost all of my good ideas about language learning come from learning music. I'm applying the ideas of learning a musical instrument to language learning. Okay? But cooking has many parallels to music, and cooking has many parallels to language or conversation. Okay? Those are interesting questions, though. Do I prefer books, apps, or websites to learn English, and what's my opinion about AI? Fayez, I prefer everything. Okay? I don't want one thing. So listen to me, everybody. In life, pay attention. This is good advice. In life, many things that you do are a matter of efficiency. Efficiency. To be efficient means to do something as quickly as possible with as little energy as possible, right? That's what we're trained as humans to do. We try to learn how to be efficient in our life, in what we do. However, learning is not an exercise of efficiency. Learning is an exercise of proficiency. So the purpose of learning is not to do it as quickly as possible with as little effort as possible. The purpose of learning is to do it as well as possible, as completely as possible. Okay? As proficiently as possible. So, if you're asking which one is best, books, apps, or websites, that's a question that's makes me think you're looking at it from a standpoint of efficiency. You're thinking, which one is most efficient? But when I look at that, I think I need all three of those to be proficient. I need books and apps and websites and live streams and videos and teachers and friends and family and whatever, Google, AI. I need everything to learn proficiently. Okay? Can I suggest some online platforms for what? You can't get my book yet because I haven't finished it yet. But when I finish it, when I have finished, when I've completed it, I will let you know. Val says, I'm between intermediate and advanced, and my listening and speaking are good, but writing is not that good. Any advice? I need news, but I read news, but it's boring. Okay, so your listening and your speaking are good, but your writing is not. Well, then, whatever you're not good at, that's the thing you need to do more of, right? So you need to write more, Val, but you need many different kinds of writing, right? So I want you to use AI and ask AI to give you 20 different kinds of writing exercises that you can do, like short stories, articles, diary, restaurant review, movie review, TV show review, poems, song lyrics. I want you to write as many things as you possibly can, as many formats as you can, okay? As much as you can. And AI will help you with that. You can use AI to both help you correct your writing and to encourage you to give you topics to write about. Tell AI, please give me some interesting topics to write about. If you tell AI a little bit about yourself, hey, I like gardening, and I like traveling, and I like Mexican food. If you give AI a few tips about who you are, then it will create some things to read or write about that are interesting. Okay? And you read news, but it's boring. News can be boring, you're right. But news is not entertainment. That's important to remember, especially in today's world. News is not entertainment. It's supposed to be boring, to be honest with you. If it's not boring, if they are sensationalizing it, then it's not probably news. It's entertainment. Okay? So the more sensational something is, the less likely it's actually news, and the more likely it's just entertainment. Okay? And Val, I would also suggest you can go to npr.org and you can check out there. And there's one other website I'll give you, Val, that's a good website that will give you topics to answer, like questions to answer. You can go to eslj.org. You might need to use a VPN, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that one opens up well in China or not. But use ITESLJ. It's a website that has topics, hundreds of topics, and then if you click on the topic, it has hundreds of questions about that topic. I use those questions for guided conversation classes, right? Topical conversation classes. You can use them to as writing topics. Right? So you can use them as writing topics. Okay. I don't know when my book will be finished. I don't know what it will be called, and I don't know how much it will cost. I will let you know. And yes, you will be able to find it online. Hello, Belen. Good to see you. Nazanin, I will do everything I can to make my book available to everybody who wants it in the world. Hello, Suja. You're welcome, Val. I thought learning isn't linear. We have many ups and downs, but the point is don't give up. That is correct. That is correct. Learning is not linear. The only way to fail is to give up. Right. How many hours is my stream? Anywhere from 1.5 hours to sometimes 3 hours or more. You can go to my YouTube channel and you can watch a bunch of my old ones. Okay, if you want more help with English, go watch my YouTube channel. If you like what you're hearing now, then you can watch lots of live streams like this one. I have 74,000 followers on HelloTalk. That means that I answer a lot of questions. I answer a lot of questions from people about English, about language, about life. Go listen to my live streams, and probably whatever questions you have, those are the answers are there in my streams somewhere. Okay? Okay, Fatima would like to come talk to me. I think I can do that. Fatima, would you like to come talk with me?
Hello.
Hello, Fatima, how are you?
I'm good.
Good.
How are you doing?
Not bad. I can't complain. And you're in Iran. Are you in Tehran, or where are you?
No, I'm not in Tehran. I'm living in a city called Zanjan.
Zanjan.
It's
Okay.
4 hours, 4 hours far from Tehran. I mean,
North,
driving
south,
by
east,
flight.
west.
It's almost in the center.
Oh, in the center. Okay. So how? But if you're driving from Tehran, which direction do you go?
To the north.
To the north. Okay. Okay. All right. And what can I do for you today? How can I help you?
I just wanted to have a conversation, and I have a question.
Okay. What's your question?
I know that there's a rule that when a word is ending to the letter F, for example, a noun like wolf, leaf, and you want to make a plural form, you should
VES.
change the F to V.
Yeah.
Right?
Most of the time, but there are a
Some
few.
days,
There are a couple of exceptions, but yes.
yeah. I was going to ask you about the exceptions because some days ago I saw the word beliefs. It didn't change.
Yeah, it doesn't
wasn't
follow that rule.
changed
That's right.
to
Yeah,
V.
yeah, yeah. So let me see if I can pull up my grammar book. One moment. Let me find it here. Where is my grammar book? Nope. Hold on. Let me search on my computer. There's a page in my grammar book, the book that I use, that's really great. There's a book I use. It's called Basic English Grammar. Here it is. Let me share my screen. I'll show it to you. So I have many, many books. I have many, many books. I probably have about 50, 60 different grammar books, okay? But this one is actually my favorite one. It's the most... okay, so there's another book called English Grammar in Use. It's the most popular one. That's the one that almost everybody in the world has. That book is a good book. However, my problem with English Grammar in Use is it is a little bit on, yeah. So that's right. That's the one everybody has. However, the only problem I have with that book is it is comprehensive. Comprehensive means it has all the answers in it, for sure. But it's a little bit dry, a little confusing sometimes. The way they explain things is not great. It's a little boring. It's not a fun book to go through at all. It's kind of painful, to be honest with you. It's good, but not very entertaining. Okay. However, this book I find to be a lot less painful for studying English. Okay, so let's take a look at it. You'll see it's a little more cartoony. You know, it's a little more fun looking, right? It's basic looking, but the blue and the white and the black letters, they make it better because if you look, for example, here, they're trying to teach you about capital letters. So all the capital letters that you need to focus on are in blue, right? So that you can pay attention to the rule and see how it works, right? So let me scroll down and find the section that talks about the VES rule. Where is that? Let's see. Demonstrative pronouns, adjectives. I think I might have gone too far. Oh, no. Oh, here it is. Okay, we're getting close, I think. So this book is, again, it's called Basic English Grammar. It's by Saddleback Publishing is the name of the company. And I really need to talk to them and get like a deal with them because I recommend their book all the time. I think I've gone too far. Let me go back to the beginning and find where is it in the chapter. All right, here we go. Plural nouns. Maybe it's all the way back there. Singular nouns, plural nouns, IES, Y. Here we go. All right, here we go. So there are some nouns, right? So calf and calves, right? Elf and elves, half and halves, leaf and leaves, right? So these you do change, right? And here also loaf, loaves, shelf, shelves, thief, thieves, wolf, wolves, right? Those all change. But down here, if you look, there are a few chef, chefs, not chefs, okay? Chief, chiefs, cliff, cliffs, handkerchief, handkerchiefs, roof, roofs, okay? Sheriff, sheriffs. And then down here, there are three they mention here that actually could be either. You can choose. It's up to you. So the word dwarf could be written dwarfs or dwarves. Both are fine. Okay? Now, is there a rule for this? There are two things you need to know. One, is there a rule, like what's the logic behind this? There is no rule that I have been told that makes any sense to me, because some of these words follow that rule for one reason and some of them follow it for a different reason. So, for example, the word chef. The reason why we don't follow that rule with chef is because the word chef is actually a French word. French, the word chef means chief, right? So that's why we it's already the word chief, right? And chief, why do it? Nobody has ever explained it to me in any way. There's no logical rule that I know about, okay? You just have to know that there are certain words that do that. However, this is the second and most important thing to know. If you're not taking a grammar test, okay, if you're just in the real world and you're talking to people and you say, if you say shelves instead of shelves, or you say wolves instead of wolves, nobody cares. Nobody cares, and everybody will still understand you, okay? It's not that important of a rule. There are some grammar rules that are very important because if you don't know that rule, it could have an effect on the meaning that you're trying to explain. But this one, no. Nobody's going to be confused if you say wolves instead of wolves. They're going to know what you mean, right? So that means that if you're taking a test, if you're taking the IELTS test, okay, you need to pay attention to this rule and try to do it right and memorize these words. But if you're not taking the IELTS test, remember as many as you can. But if you make a mistake, it's not important. It's not really consequential, right? So once again, we have calf, elf, half, leaf, loaf, shelf, thief, and wolf. Those all follow the rule. But then we have these down here in the middle that don't follow the rule. They just added a single S to the end. And then there's these three down here that don't care what you do. Okay, dwarf, hoof, and scarf. You can say scarf or scarves. You can say hoof or hooves. You can say dwarf or dwarves. Okay? And somebody asked,
Okay, okay.
does this?
Thank you.
Somebody asked, does this book have any blank exercises? It does. So at the end of each chapter, they ask you questions, right? So, and they're not too many, right? It's not a lot, right? So, like I said, this is one reason I love this book. It's not painful. It's a simple, good way to go through a book. And by the way, that's another good thing I recommend about grammar. If you want to study grammar, you should find one good book that's your favorite, but then you should also try to get a few others, because grammar is one of those things that if you read one book, they'll explain a rule and maybe you won't understand it the way they explained it. But then this other book you read, that rule, they explained it in a different way, and now you do understand it. So grammar is one of those things that sometimes you can understand it better when you review it from many different people who explain it. And then you also get more practice that way, right? So it's not a bad thing to have more than one grammar book and go through them and review everything, right? So sure, you already know the rule about plurals, but read it again from a different book and see if maybe they give you a tip or something that you didn't think about before that will help you, okay? Personally, I'm an English teacher, but I hate grammar. Okay, because I feel like grammar is kind of like grammar is this thing that, like,
Who likes it?
yeah, but there are some people who say I love grammar, and I'm like, what, are you crazy? You know, like, because yeah, I think grammar is painful. Grammar is the number one reason why people don't want to learn any language. Any language, it doesn't matter what language, people don't want to learn grammar. It's like the rules, right? And especially because there is always someone who wants to walk around like grammar is almost like this bat. They're holding a bat, and they're walking around with the grammar bat, and they're just waiting to hit somebody with the grammar bat. No, you didn't say that right. No, you didn't say that right. You know, they're just waiting to beat you with the grammar bat. Like, you know, but that's not what language is about. Right? If you're focused on that, there's a funny post I recently saw on Facebook. It's a British woman, and she's at a funeral for her husband, and everybody's there, and there's the priest standing next to her, and she's trying to read her what's it called? Oh God, I can't remember the name of the words when when you're talking at someone's funeral. What is it called?
Now you can.
Not testimony, but it's similar.
Remember.
Yeah, I'll remember. It'll come to me later. But she's trying to read this, letter that she wrote about her husband, right? And she's reading it, but while she's reading it, the priest keeps correcting her grammar. Everything she says that's wrong, every little word she says that's wrong, he's correcting her grammar in the middle of the funeral, in front of everybody. He's correcting her grammar, every little thing. That's wrong. That is so wrong. What is wrong with you? Why would you correct somebody's grammar at a funeral, no less? At a funeral. Why would you do that? But that's how some people are. They're so crazy about grammar that they think that language is only language if you have perfect grammar. But the truth is, you can say a lot without saying it perfectly. Right? So if I say nice meet you, that's not good grammar, but you understand me. Nice meet you. Okay, nice to meet you. I think I understand. If I say I want go store, you understand me. It's not correct grammar, but I want to go to the store, right? So grammar is a weird thing because it makes people think that language is about grammar, but language is about communication. Right? Language is about, I have an idea in my mind and I want to put that same idea in your mind. I want to show you what I'm thinking. So how can I use words to do that? Right? But your words don't have to be, academically 1,000% correct. You can be, that's how language is, One of our greatest writers in America, Mark Twain, is one of my favorite writers. Famous author, wrote Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer. But if you read those books, Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer, those books are written about American people in the late 1800s, and they're poor people. And the way they speak is not proper at all. It's very improper. It's local language that's very, very difficult for most people to understand because it's not right. It's slang, right? It's the way they talked. It's the way poor people talked. Poor people don't really care about grammar that much usually. They're not walking around with the grammar bat, you know? So language is a funny thing because language can be inclusionary or language can be exclusionary, right? So when you make language simple so everyone can understand it, it's inclusionary. But when you make language difficult and use difficult words, you exclude people. You're saying that language is only good if it's perfect or language is only good if it's advanced. Right? But Albert Einstein said, if you can't explain it simply, then maybe you don't really understand. Right? So simplicity is good. Yeah. And don't worry about being perfect. Language is like music. Sometimes you can play a piece of music with poor technique but great heart. And it's beautiful because it had great heart. Nobody cared about the technique. So if the technique was not perfect, nobody cared. There was such great heart in the performance that everybody loved it. That's the exact same way language is. You don't have to have perfect language. You just have to have great feeling. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. And based on what you said, I think that HelloTalk has been more useful than my grammar book.
Yeah, absolutely.
Improve my English.
Sure, absolutely. It can be if you make it so. HelloTalk is a tool. So is every app that you have, every book you have, everything you have. They're tools, and a tool is only as good as its user. Right? So I can give a hammer to a baby and a baby will destroy my room. But I can give the same hammer to a carpenter and a carpenter will build me a beautiful bookcase, So a tool is only as good as its user.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And HelloTalk I've been on HelloTalk for about 12 years. And so, of course, I think it's an amazing tool. I love it. But I also think that 95% of the people who use it don't know how to use it as a good tool. They're not really trying to use it well. They could, but they just don't. Yeah. But that's good if you are.
And another point is that, another point is that when you learn a language, you're going to talk with people. When you're learning a language, an international language, like English, which everyone is trying to practice it and learning it perfectly, the goal is to make a communication, a conversation with people. And on HelloTalk, you can find people from different countries with different accents, and it makes it easier to understand people.
Yeah.
For example, when you're talking to people from India, if you're just listening to American accent. Or,
English comes in many flavors. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's one thing I like about being an American is because, the British, I think most British people will probably make the argument that when you learn a language, when you learn English, you should learn the accent properly, the way the British do. They want you to learn exactly the way they say. But Americans, I feel like we're a little different because my country is a country of people from everywhere, right? So that means that everybody who comes here, we all have an accent at some point, right? My grandmother had an accent from Slovakia. Does that mean her English was bad? No, it just means she had an accent. right? And there are many accents in the United States too, right? We have many accents within the United States, not just the one I have. There are dozens of different accents here, right? So when you add that we have many different accents, plus we have so many different cultures here, so many different people who live here from other places, that's why I think that American English doesn't need to have a perfect accent. It just needs to have perfect clarity. And clarity is a much different goal than perfection. That means that I don't care. You can speak English perfectly with an Iranian accent, Japanese accent, French accent, German accent, Portuguese accent, Chinese accent. I don't care what accent you have. You can speak English perfectly well if you can be clear. That's it. Yeah. And you're right, Fatima. Again, I've been here for a long time on Hello Talk, and I love talking to people from around the world. That's why I have this live stream. It's called A Friend in Every Corner, because that's what I like to do, make a friend in every corner of the world by talking to people. And I will tell you, one of the countries I love talking to more than any other, Iran. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of followers from Iran, and I have talked to many, many, many people in Iran, and I'm always amazed at the level of English and at their openness and interest in the rest of the world. And yeah, I'm always really, really open. Like, you know, one of my heroes is a man named Anthony Bourdain. He's a chef who did a bunch of travel TV shows, and he did one that went to Iran. And when he went to Iran, he said, people said they would be nice, but I had no idea they would be the nicest people in the world. That's what he said about Iran when he was there. And that's kind of how I feel too, is when I talk to Iranian people, I feel like, wow, so many are just so nice. It's really amazing. And especially between your country and my country, I think these kinds of connections are particularly important, aren't they? You know, because we don't seem to understand each other very well when we talk about our countries, but when we talk about each other, we understand each other fine, right? So you have to remember that countries are not a people. People are just people.
Exactly. That's right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the culture of my country, the history of my country is not known. We have poetry.
Well, that's not entirely true. Actually, in America, we do know a little bit. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite poets in the world is Rumi. I quote Rumi all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Maulana, right? I quote him all the time, right? One of my favorite quotes is, he said, all of your anxiety comes from seeking harmony. Seek disharmony and you will find peace. And I love that quote, because what that means is you can't be comfortable without being uncomfortable first. You have to go through the uncomfortable part in order to learn how to be comfortable. So I love that statement. That's a beautiful statement. And he has so many that I love. I've written down so many of his great writings. But I think that Americans, at least what I was taught, we do learn about Iranian history, ancient. We learn about the ancient part of it. Right? I took a class called Ancient and Medieval History, and we learned about Sumeria and Mesopotamia and all of the region there earlier. You know, all the different cultures there, and the first writing there, and everything was beginning there, right, in that area of the world. So we do learn a little bit, but then it's the modern part that we don't really know much about. It's everything in the last 100 years that we're not really that familiar with. But we do, I'll carefully say this. I'll just say that we do know that things weren't always the way that they are now there. We do know that, just so you know. Again, it's always, you got to be careful the way you talk sometimes, right? And I never want to get anybody in trouble because, everybody's got different rules in different countries. But I'm just telling you that we do know that things have been different there before. That's what we do know. Yeah. So, and maybe things will be different one day in the future. Just like here. I don't know what America's going to be like in 50 years. You don't know what Iran's going to be like in 50 years. We both don't know, Maybe my country maybe my country will be a theocracy in 50 years. Who knows? So, Fatima, it was wonderful to talk to you. Thank you for coming. And please come back.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, please come back and see me again, and make sure you follow. Okay.
Sure. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else I can help you with today?
Thanks so much. No, thank you. Thank you so much, and have a good time.
Okay. Thank you. Take care. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye. Okay. Yes, before 1979. Right. That's exactly kind of what I was referring to. We do know that. Okay. Let's see. Let me go back and make sure I didn't miss any comments. Eulogy. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you, Belen. Eulogy. Eulogy is the word I was looking for. Yeah, the woman was giving her husband's eulogy, and the priest kept correcting her grammar, which is hilarious. Okay. Is grammar really necessary for you to learn English? Yes, grammar is necessary for you to learn, but grammar shouldn't make you afraid of learning. That's my point. If you become afraid of grammar, that's a problem. It's a bigger problem than bad grammar. Okay? And yes, Lily says grammar is important for examinations. That's correct. For examinations, it's important. So here's what when people ask me, is grammar important? This is my answer. Okay, listen. Grammar is important if you're taking a test, like the IELTS test or the TOEFL test or a high school test for English. Of course, grammar is important on a test. Grammar is important in school. If you're going to school and you're writing a paper, grammar is important. At work, if you have a job that uses English, grammar is important, right? So if you're at work, grammar is important. If you're at school, grammar is important. If you're taking a test, grammar is important. But if you're just at the grocery store and you're just talking to your friend, then no, it's not that important. Stop worrying about it. Okay? It's kind of like when you sing, you have to transmit and show feelings more than singing perfectly. That's exactly right, Tamara. That's what I mean about words and music are very similar, that words, when you write them on a paper, they have no feeling. There's no heart until you speak them and give them heart, right? You can say to be or not to be, or you can say to be or not to be. Right? They're different. They're not the same, right? You have to give it heart. Heart sometimes trumps grammar or perfection. Heart beats technique. Okay. How can you be clear, as Stephanie wants to know. So how can you be clear with your pronunciation? Well, there are a few things you can do. One, this is another way that your phone can help you. Technology can help you. Your phone you can use for dictation in any language, right? So you can dictate right now, Estefany, in Spanish on your phone, right? If you say hola, your phone will write down hola, right? So now use your phone for dictation and practice English. If your pronunciation is good, it will understand you. So AI and technology, dictation technology, are great tools for helping you to improve your pronunciation. That's one. Two, everybody has some words or sounds that are difficult for them to say well in any language, right? So when you learn a new language, there are some words that are hard for you, right? Write those words down. Write them down and make a list of words that are similar to that and practice those every day. That's a good way to target the words you need to improve to make them more clear. Okay? And yes, hello, Arya. Good to see you. Wow, thank you very much, Elidie. What is my descent? I'm American from the United States, but my father's family comes from Slovakia originally, and my mother's family comes from Ireland. Thank you for the gifts, everyone. Shivank says, I want to ask only one thing. When I speak, I fumble a little bit. Shivank, one, relax. You fumble because you're not relaxed. Two, breathe. Breathing will help you relax. Three, slow down. Slowing down will help you breathe, which will help you relax. Slow down, breathe, relax. That's how you can get rid of stumbling over your words. Okay? Yes, Bella, I call that, when you write down the words that are difficult for you, I call it your Target Accent Improvement List. TAIL, Target Accent Improvement List, TAIL. So write down 5 words across the top of a paper that are hard for you to say, right? Maybe the TH sound is hard, or the V sound is hard, or the R sound is hard, or the L sound is hard. Write down those words across the top of the paper, and then write down as many words as you can find that are similar to that word underneath, right? So Ramadan wrote the word literally, right? That's a difficult one for many people because it has the R and the L in it, right? So write down all the words that have R and L in them that are difficult, right? Like the word world. That's another one that's hard for people, right? World. Okay? Literally, right? Write those down underneath. So when you're finished, you'll have a paper that has 5 words across the top and 5 columns of words, all for you to practice. Right? And they all have that same focused sound. That means you're targeting the thing you need to improve. Okay? Yes, but be careful with the silent letters. That's right. Yeah. Yes, literally, 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 literally. Carlos, hello, Carlos. Carlos says, I ask Meta, for example, to teach me some phrasal verbs with the word drop. Then immediately it makes me, gives me a breakdown about everything, simple and easy. Right, that's what I'm saying. Carlos, AI is a perfect example of what I said before. AI is a tool that is only as good as the user. So if you are smart, you can sit down and you can ask AI the right questions, and it will give you a lot of answers, great answers. If you are not very smart, you will not ask it the right questions, and it will not give you the right answers. It will not give you what you need. So AI is a perfect example of it's only as good as you make it. Okay? How to avoid being rude when speaking English. For example, if we speak of course a lot, it will sound rude. Let me think about that for a moment. I think being rude when speaking any language doesn't have to do with what you say as much as it has to do with how you say it. So if you say, of course, a lot, it's okay. It depends on how you say, of course, right? So if you're talking to me and I'm saying, oh yeah, of course, that's good, of course. I think that's humble. That's nothing wrong with that. But if I'm looking at you and I'm saying, oh, of course, yeah, of course, yes, of course, that's a little too strong. The way I look seems a little arrogant, right? So I think that it depends on the feeling that you're projecting. Okay, it depends on the feeling that you're projecting. And of course, it also depends on who you're talking to. Some people are more actively looking for aggression, and some people are less paranoid or what's the right word? They're more accepting of whatever you say, however you say it, right? So there are some people who are looking for a fight, and there are some people who, they don't care what you say. It's fine. Relax. Okay? But I don't think I would think that you're rude if you say, of course, a lot. I don't think so. It just depends on how you said it. Are there any tips for prepositions? I'm struggling with it. Mohammed, prepositions are hard. You need a lot of practice. There's a website you can go to called GamesToLearnEnglish.com. This is a great website for practicing English. GamesToLearnEnglish.com. They have a couple different games to practice English prepositions. That's a good one. You also should do a search online for preposition worksheets. Okay, do a search online for preposition worksheets. Okay, do a search for that and download them and try to do them as much as you can. Okay. I want to improve my speaking, but when I try to speak, I translate as it would be said in my language. How to improve it? Okay, good question. That's a good start. So language begins in the mind. So the first thing that you can do is start trying to use English in your mind as much as you can. And it's okay if you use English with Spanish grammar a little bit in the beginning. That's okay. The point is, you need to make English comfortable in your head so that you can use it like there's an English world living up in here. If you are trying to use English when there's only a Spanish world in your mind, that's never going to work well, because everything has to be translated before it can come out of your mind, out of your mouth. So you should learn how to get an English world up in your mind, then you'll feel comfortable using your English mouth. Okay? So, Stefani, the secret for how to speak well is thinking. So think a lot every day and practice thinking about the language. Your mind is a language practice room. Use it. How to stop thinking while I'm speaking. Ahmed, I would say the advice I just gave Stefani would be useful to you also. You need to learn how to think in English instead of thinking in Arabic, maybe, if that's what you're doing. But also, slow down and relax. Okay? Slow down and relax. People are not careful enough about words. Words can be dangerous. You should be careful with them. So, slow down. Okay? You think that if you speak fast, that means you speak well. No. Speaking well has nothing to do with speed. Speaking well has to do with quality. Okay? Psychosis. What about psychosis? Sometimes it also depends on the stress word in which you put in a sentence. It does. That's right. If you're talking about stress again, yes. Some languages have a strong emotional coloring of some words. For example, the order of words in Russian. Well, that's interesting. Let me think about that for a moment. Mittens. It's funny you say that because I only know a few words in Russian, but I remember one of my Russian friends, and she asked me, what can you say in Russian? And at first I said, I can say, da and нет and до свидания and что and, whatever, right? Привет. I could say a few things, right? And she said, yeah, you can say them, but they don't sound right. And I was like, oh, okay. And then she said them, and it just sounded kind of like she just said them the same way I did, but just a little bit angry. like instead of saying da, she said da. And instead of niet, she said niet. Right? And instead of что, she said что. Right? Like she threw them out of her mouth a little bit more strongly than I was. And when I did that, she was like, "Oh, that's much better. Now that sounds more Russian." I think that's kind of like what you're talking about, the emotional coloring, right? I put a little anger on it, and it sounded better. It's me, Odd. Yes, I will probably bring some people up to talk. I already have. I'll bring somebody else up here in a minute. How can you send more gifts to me? Send gifts to me. Just send them. You should be able to send gifts to me. I don't think there's a limit. Can you elaborate how you can give a perfect answer for a question in an interview, a meeting, or in a class like choice of words or something? There's no such thing as a perfect answer. There's just good music. Okay? So what I mean is, if you want to be good at interviews, then you should do a lot of interviews, right? So Shivank, if you're not good at interviews, then next month, you should set up 10 interviews for jobs that you don't even want. You don't even want the job. You just want the interview so that you can practice interviews. Okay? The more you practice, the better you get. Nobody is a genius doing something the first time. Okay? Practice makes perfect. So you need more practice with interviews. For meetings, same kind of thing. I think you need more meetings, more opportunities of public speaking. Okay, the more you speak well, the more confident you will become. Okay? And then as far as choice of words and things like that, being a wordsmith, we call that. A wordsmith means somebody who's good with their words. To speak well, you must think well. So all of the words that I say to you, nearly all of them, I have thought of first. I have contemplated first. Right? So, great contemplation leads to great oration. Okay, Shivank? Great contemplation leads to great oration. If you think a lot, then you'll speak well. Okay? What's the difference between slow down and settle down? Ramadan, the word you're looking for is settle, S-E-T-T-L-E, not saddle, S-A-D-D-L-E. Settle down means calm down, calm yourself. Your emotions or your energy is too strong, calm down. We say settle down to children. If I come into a classroom and my kids are talking too much, I'll say, okay, settle down, settle down, settle down. That means be quiet and be in control of your emotions, right? Slow down just means slow. Get slower, right? So slow down and settle down are different. You've been participating in my live stream from the beginning. Well, tell me how long the beginning is then, Odd. How long have you been watching me? I appreciate that, but I'm just curious how long you think I've been on here. The second one can be sitting down. No. Saddle, the word saddle is a noun, and it means the thing that you put on a horse to make riding a horse more easy, right? More comfortable, right? That's a saddle. That big leather thing that they put on the back of a horse, that is called a saddle. Okay? All right. I'm almost caught up with the comments. And Suja, I have been here for 1 hour and 27 minutes, officially. Hello to my new Japanese friend, konnichiwa. I have a wonderful diction. Well, I do try to speak clearly as an English teacher. I try to speak like an actor with great enunciation and diction. Right? So many people, they say that. They say, I don't understand because when I listen to you, I can understand 95% or 100% of what you say. But when I listen to the other guy on YouTube or Hello Talk, I can't understand him. Why? One, it's my job. I'm a teacher. It's my job to speak well. I'm an English teacher. It's my job. Right? Two, I am trying to slow down and speak with great clarity and simplicity. Okay? And three, I have spent great money on the best equipment that you can get to make it as clear as possible. So this microphone that I'm using is the same microphone that they use on, BBC or NBC or CNN or whatever. It's the same thing. Okay. Before the earth was born. Does a stable mean a house for horses? The word stable can have a few meanings. Stable can mean something that is settled in its position, or it is... Let me think of the right words. Yeah, I think the right words are, one meaning of stable is something that is settled in its position. It is stable. It's not moving. It's settled in its position. But the other meaning for stable is a place for storing horses, okay, or where the horses will sleep. Okay, that's called the stable. Okay? Jair, the drums are there because I am a drummer. Throwing shade at someone, it means saying bad things about them. Ashraf. So shade is dark, right? So when you throw shade, you're throwing darkness at someone. That's what it means. You're throwing darkness, right? So light means good things. You're throwing light at someone, you're throwing good stuff. If you throw dark at someone, you're being dark. You're throwing darkness at them. You're throwing shade. You're being rude to them. Okay? You're insulting them. I I might remember you, Odd. I just, I have a lot of followers. Like, it's hard to know who everybody is here. I do my best, though. Sama? Yes, Nameless. We have many wildfires right now. Okay. Sarvarbek, sometimes I speak a little bit fast, but I do speak slower than most people on Hello Talk. Okay? What does advice mean? REIS is not a word, but advice means good, a good suggestion someone has told you. Good information someone has told you is advice, right? So if you ask your father, what should I do? He is giving you advice, okay? Do we need to advance your vocab for good or advanced English? Of course you do. Yeah. Can you give an example? Is it indirect insulting or sarcasm? Usually it's, when I hear the term throwing shade, it's like I'll say, oh, did you hear what he said? He was throwing some serious shade at him last night. That means, my friend, I heard him talking badly about someone last night. I heard him throwing shade. Okay? Or don't throw shade, man. Don't say bad things, Yeah. Okay? And I wouldn't say it's sarcasm. No. Yes, I am an American. How can you get reading comprehension? Read more. Go to eslfast.com. Read more. Okay? And yes, if you raise your hand, I will invite you up there. Okay? All right, let's talk to Odd first. I think I know who it is. I vaguely recall. Odd, are you going to come? Are you going to come talk to me? Oh, there you are. Hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How about you?
I'm good. You were the one whose name was weird before, weren't you?
Oh, your memorize is amazing, man. You remember me very well.
Yeah, I couldn't recognize the picture, but I guessed the name.
Yeah, it was just a kind of my real picture. I just put it with some AI.
Okay, so what can I do for you today?
I think it's up to you because you're the host. You know the very well. What can you do for me?
Well, do you have any questions?
I have no idea.
That's what most people do when they come talk to me. They want to ask me questions about English or about culture or about life, whatever. So if you have questions, you can ask me questions.
Maybe I can give you some topic. We can discuss this topic if you want.
Okay, sure.
Maybe we can put this topic like beliefs. Are you ready for talk about beliefs? Like, do you believe in yourself?
Okay, those kinds of beliefs we can talk about. If it's religious beliefs, we can't talk about that. But believing in yourself, self-confidence, that's we can talk about that.
Yeah, of course, totally sure. Like, just believing your skills.
Okay, so believing in yourself is really important. Because if you don't believe in yourself, then how can you possibly do anything? Right? So self-confidence is very important. That's why I tell people that you really need to kill your shyness. If you have shyness, you need to kill it. You need to learn how to get rid of it. People have been telling you that you're shy and you've been accepting it and you're just letting that be part of who you are, right? You're just saying, "Oh, okay, I'm shy." But why? Why do you accept that you are shy? Because being shy is something that you're not born with that. It is something you learn, So that means that you can learn how to be not shy, gregarious, right? So confidence, being self-confident, if you're not self-confident, then you won't believe in yourself to want to do things. So, and shyness is usually how that starts, right? You say, I'm shy, I'm too shy. If you're too shy, then you feel you don't have any confidence, right?
Yeah, of course, you're totally right. Building confidence is really essential for every person.
Right. So I tell people that if if you want to get confidence, you have to go do something, right? So I remember when I was a boy, I had no confidence at all. I was a real wuss. I was scared of everything. I was a coward. I really just, I wanted to do a lot of things, but I just was too afraid to actually do them. But that's because it was kind of like, it was like when I was learning how to swim, right? And when you go to the swimming pool for the first time, everybody is scared to jump in the water. So what do? You don't jump in the water yet. You walk around the pool. Maybe you put your foot in just a little bit to test the water, but you don't jump in. So that's what I was doing for a long time, so I was just walking around and not jumping in. That's how I felt about everything. Is like, I can remember when I was a boy, I wanted to learn karate. And there was a place near me to do karate, martial arts, right? But I was too scared. I was too scared because I had never done anything before, so I didn't have the confidence to say, I think I can do this. But then I learned how to play the drums. When I was about 15 years old, I got pretty serious about playing the drums, and I started really doing it. And once I started playing the drums, and I felt like I can do something. Wow, look at that. I can play the drums pretty well. So that means if I can do that, then maybe I can do some other things. Right?
Yeah.
So learning how to do the drums gave me the confidence to feel like, oh, maybe I can learn Chinese. Maybe I can learn how to cook. Maybe I can learn about history. Maybe I can learn, whatever. So, and now I'm writing a book. If you don't have confidence, you cannot write a book. Writing a book is all about confidence. You have to have enough belief in yourself. If you don't have belief in yourself, if you don't have confidence, then you won't write anything because you won't believe that anyone cares to read, right?
Yeah, you're totally right.
Yeah, so that's what I tell people is that if you want to get confidence, make a plan to do something. I don't care what it is. Try to make a goal and go do it, right? So here's the thing you want to do. Go make a plan and go do it. And when you're finished, if you finished and you're successful, when you're successful, you get confidence. That's the reward you get. And then confidence gives you energy. Now you believe in yourself. You can take that energy and go back and start another new thing. And then that will give you more confidence and more energy. And then you can do another thing. And then that will give you more confidence. So the more things you do, the more confidence you can get, which gives you more energy to do more things.
Yeah. Let me speak something about that. I actually I had experienced bad stuff since I was in high school, and I would say my classmates are really stupid, and they always discriminate me in every situation. But I try to make conversation with them, but they just try to disregard me. I felt unconfident about myself. But then I just I don't know how to explain for you. I just being myself always, and right now my actual confidence is like that. I just always being myself because when people look at me, they say what they want to see, and that comes with a lot of expectations. And I know to being judged and to be pat on because it's normal thing for every person. You can
Well,
also be
that's
by
what I was
people,
going to ask you is you're talking about high school, right? This is how you felt in high school. People were not nice to you in high school, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, guess what, Odd? That's high school. High school is its own little world. It's an inconsequential world that does not make any difference at all. But when you are in high school, you believe it is the world. Right? So when you're in high school, you believe that the kids that are around you, that their opinions and all the things they do, that matters. But the truth is, Odd, nothing you do in high school means anything. It's not important at all. So forget about high school. High school is stupid, and you should not worry about it very much. That world is over now. So whatever happened in that world, let it go. Because guess what? It was fake. Everything in high school. The kid who's the cool kid in school, that's not real. That's high school. Okay? The prettiest girl, the one who everybody likes, that's not real. That's high school. Okay? But once you're out of high school, we're all in the real world now. It's a different game. Okay, it's a different game. So I had the same experience in high school. Okay, I went to 2 different high schools. For 2 years, I went to one high school that I loved, and for 2 years, I went to one high school that I did not. And everybody in high school, they feel like their world is real, and they feel like those things matter, but they don't. High school is high school. It is it's child's play. That's what it is. It's children. You're a child.
Yeah.
Okay? 15-year-old kids, whatever a 15-year-old kid says or does, it's likely it's going to be childish because they are a child, right?
Yeah,
so don't worry too much about that stuff.
Well, let me just try to explain for you. Actually, judgment is everywhere. You can see it not high school, like in university, in your life, in your office, for example. In social media, I would like to give you example. For example, just think about it like on social media. You know, it's really popular.
Yeah,
social
that's
media,
true.
And everyone knows it. For example,
Go ahead.
I post my picture, and I just saw the comments. For example, a person just wrote a comment like, "Oh, you're so hideous. Your appearance is like you look like crazy, dumb." You know, it's a kind of judgment. Can say it. And
you're right. So you are right that this kind of judgment is not only in high school, but what I'm saying is that in high school it just doesn't matter, so you should let it go. But when you get into the real world, you still do have that kind of judgment. But that's when you need to have enough self-confidence to not care what anybody else thinks. Right? Self-confidence is what gives you the ability to care more about what you think about you than what other people think about you. Okay? If you have no self-confidence, then you believe more about what other people say about you. When you have self-confidence, you believe more in yourself. Right? So, again, Odd, I didn't have any respect until I went to go do something to get respect. So once I became a drummer and I started teaching, as a teacher, I got respect as a drummer. They said, wow, he's a really great teacher, right? As a musician, as a performer, I got respect because once I performed, they said, wow, he's pretty good. So I got respect because I did something, right? And then once I have respect, you know, the great thing about being in a band, Odd, is when you're in a band, you become cool. Because you're in the band now, man. You're doing something that you care about and you don't care what anybody else thinks. That means you are cool. As soon as you do something because you want to, not because of anybody else, you're being cool. Okay, when you care about what other people think, that's not cool. Okay, so, Odd, I think you're a smart kid, and I think that you have a bright future ahead of you, but when I hear your voice, I hear some pain, and I remember that pain because I was treated that way in high school when I was younger, too. But, again, your topic is self-confidence. The more you do, the more you will get. And the more you get, the more cool you feel. And when you feel cool, what does cool mean? Cool means you are not affected by anything else around you. You're not affected by what they think. You're cool. That's what cool means, everybody, okay? It means you're not affected by what they think. They can think whatever they want. I don't care what you think. If you don't like me, if you think I'm ugly or stupid, fine. I don't care. I really don't. That's what being cool means, is I don't care what you think, man. I already know what I think about me, and that's much more important than what you think about me. Okay?
I would say something about actually maybe you can make new projects. Maybe you should be a psychologist instead of English teacher, because it's really suitable for you.
Well, my father is a psychologist, and I've thought about it. Many years ago, I thought about being a psychologist. Many years ago, when I was maybe 19, 20 years old, I thought about it. And I enjoy psychology a lot, but... here's what I will tell you. Psychology is incredibly important as a teacher.
Yeah.
It's really important as a teacher. If you don't understand psychology, I don't know how you can be a good teacher. You just can't. Psychology is crucial to understanding your students. Psychology is important to understanding learning. Learning itself is about psychology. So... and the things I'm telling you about, Odd, are the things that I have thought about personally. So I don't think you need to be a psychologist to come up with these ideas. I think you need to think a lot. You have to consider what happened to you. So every time you have something bad that happens to you in life, if you spend some time thinking about it, then you'll probably learn something from it and grow. That's all you need to do.
Yeah.
You don't need to become a psychologist. That takes too long.
You are my ideal, really. Like,
Oh, stop.
I would say to describe you as a psychologist, maybe that's really for you. That's your job, man.
Well, I appreciate the compliment of what that means. It means that when you hear me, you think I care about what people think and feel, and I do. As a teacher, again, you have to care about what people think and feel if you're going to be a good teacher, right? That's a little contradicting what I said, because on the one hand I said you have to be cool and not care what people think. On the other hand, I said you have to care what people think as a teacher, right? And what I mean is you have to care about the concept of thinking, the process of thinking. You have to understand what thinking is and how it happens, and how it's different in every person. That's the psychology of learning.
Yeah. So I have a question, teacher Mark. Can you tell me, can I be a psychologist without finishing any university? Is it possible?
Not officially, no. Not officially,
But
no.
sometimes I give advice to my kids' friends. I'm I'm older than them. But
Right.
in my opinion, like, it's possible.
Okay, but being a psychologist is different than just giving advice, okay? Being a psychologist, my father has a PhD in psychology. That takes like 11 years of study, okay? And the difference between me and my father is my father actually knows what he's talking about, okay? So all of my ideas are based on my thoughts and my contemplation. All of his ideas are based on his thoughts, his contemplation, and 11 years of intense studying about everything about psychology. And there is a lot to know. So you can learn how to be a counselor. A counselor is a person that just gives advice. They counsel you. Right? So you can learn how to be a counselor without a PhD. You might need a degree for that, though. I'm not sure. It depends on where you go. However, giving advice or telling people about psychology and that kind of thing, that is a big responsibility. So be careful, right? Because when you tell people what you think, you're telling them what to do, and that can be tricky. right? So that's why even me, when I'm here on my live streams here, I tell people, if you like my tips, if you like my thoughts, if you like my ideas and my learning methods, that's great. I'm happy for you. But please remember, I don't know everything. I'm not the god of language learning. Okay? I'm just a guy who has some ideas. If you like them, good. But if not, that's okay too. All right?
You are completely better than old stupid teacher.
Well, I appreciate your thoughts about that, but I have a lot of great teachers who I respect, and they're not stupid. So they're not all stupid. They're just some of them. And you're young, man. You're young. Remember, you still have a lot to see. So the thing about when you turn 18, around that age, you feel like you have the confidence to judge the world, but you haven't seen much of the world yet to judge. Right? So it's a complicated feeling. When you're 18, you feel like you have all the confidence in the world to judge the world. But when you're 18, you haven't really seen much of the world at all, so your judgment might be a little bit premature. You know?
Yeah. By the way, do you know, in the other hand, I just passionate about being an English teacher. So I have students, like kids students.
Good
I
for
just
you.
teach English to.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. So what do you think about that?
I think that's great. Richard Feynman. Richard Feynman was a great physicist and a great teacher. Famous teacher named Richard Feynman. And he said, we don't need perfect teachers. We need teachers that make learning exciting and interesting and make kids want to come learn. That's what we need. And that's what you need. You don't need to be a perfect teacher. Odd, my quote that I say is, teachers are not gods. Teachers are guides. Teachers are not gods.
Yeah.
Teachers are guides. A guide doesn't know everything in the world. A guide just knows more than you do.
Yeah, of course.
Okay? So teachers are not gods, everybody. They're just guides. And some guides are better than others, right? You know, if you want to go up that mountain, there are 20 guides there. All of them can take you up the mountain. But there's one guide who's the best. He'll take you up the mountain, and it's the best trip, right? So that's how teachers are. They're guides.
By the way, I would like on the camera and show you like some new driving pictures. You wanna see it?
Sure.
Just give me a second, please. I will do it for you.
Okay.
You see it? This is the basic one.
Okay,
I'm not sure
good.
it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's good. That's like, it looks like a logo. That'd be a good logo.
Yeah, it's a Korean lover. You know? And this one is just a second.
Okay, that's cute. That's very Japanese anime looking.
Yeah. And this one.
Oh, that's a cute one. I like that one. Yeah. You know what you could do? You'd be a good illustrator, like a children's book illustrator. You'd be good for that.
Yeah, I think so much.
Yeah, keep practicing. Keep practicing. That's a good fish. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And the last one is this girl.
Oh, wow, that's really good. You drew that yourself. You didn't trace that.
Yeah, of course, I just drew by myself. I would say
Wow.
it's a little bit messy.
No, I think it's great. Again, I think you seem to have an affinity, which means you like anime kind of style things, which is cool. I like Japanese stuff too, and you seem to like anime style of artwork. You know, Pokemon kind of anime, manga kind of thing. So that's cool. You should study it more.
Yeah, of course. By the way, teacher Mark, I will put some projects here in my new account, and I will text you maybe if you have time. It's just about supporting by following, if you don't mind. If it's not, it doesn't bother you.
You can send me a message and I will try to get to it. Just try to remember that I get like 100 messages every day, and sometimes it's really hard for me to even find people's messages in Hello Talk. So I will do my best. Send me a message and I'll see if I can get to it later, okay?
Okay, I mean, just the kind of, it's following is enough, you know. That's
Okay.
fine.
Okay, so send me a message and we'll see what I can do, okay?
Mhm. Yeah, and just want to say today you were amazing, and I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for being me
Thank
here.
you very
Just want to
much.
say God bless you.
Thank you very
Okay.
much. Take care of yourself and keep working on what you're doing, okay, my friend? And remember,
Okay.
you're in a new world now, so forget about what happened in high school. Everything that happened in high school doesn't matter. You think it does when you're in high school, but it doesn't, okay? So good luck to you, and I'll see you next time, okay?
Talk. Bye bye.
Okay, take care. All right, and let's see. Let me make sure I didn't miss any important comments here. Teachers in schools are trying to wash students' brains? Not the ones I know. I don't know about there, or, you know, if you're just talking about there, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know what happens over there. So, but that shouldn't be what happens here. My teachers did not do that to me. That's not what I feel. Oh, Tanya, I'm sorry. I can't speak Spanish well enough to have a conversation with you. I'm sorry. But Belen can. Hello, Carolina. Do I like math? Not particularly. I'm not a big fan of math, to be honest with you. Math annoys me. Hello, myself. Hello, Mike. Hello, Butt. So many people. Okay. And Roman said, so the implication is that you just need to be a little better than your students to teach them. You don't need to be far ahead of them. Yeah, Roman, in general, that's the truth, right? That's exactly what my teacher said. He said, you don't have to know everything. You just have to be one step ahead of them. Okay, I called my teacher and I asked him, you know, when I was 18 years old, I said, what am I doing? I can't teach these people. I don't know everything. And he said, you don't have to know everything. You just have to be one step ahead of them and want to help. Okay? Okay. You bought a book with some tips to paint? Okay, good. When you were in high school, you were in the clouds? Yeah, I don't know. High school, I just think high school is just, I hate high school, to be honest with you. I really hope schooling needs to change drastically, but especially high school. It's the social aspect of high school that needs to drastically change. All the kids in high school who think they are cool, they need to be told, you're not. You're not cool. Nobody cares about how many footballs you caught. Or how tall you are, or whatever, okay? Nobody cares. All right, who else would like to come talk with me? Can I share some knowledge about how to maintain the mindset to keep going in life? Oh, Jason. What else can you do but keep going? You know? That's the mindset, Jason. What else can you do? Just keep going. Is it true teaching is the second most difficult job in the world after working in a mine? Well, my grandfather worked in a mine. He died working in the mines. Teaching is not the most difficult job. So those jobs are different. So being a miner is a difficult job because it's a dangerous job. Okay? Being a teacher is a difficult job because, one, kids, honestly, many of them seem like they don't actually want to learn. Many of them. Two, parents now. Parents parents who sometimes did not do well in school themselves, right? So they were terrible when they were in school, but now they have kids, and their kids are in school. And some of these parents, they didn't do well in school, but now they think that they can tell the teacher how to teach their kids. So you failed, but now you have kids, and now you think you can tell the teacher what to do. And now in America, we have all the shootings in the schools too. So now teaching is not only a difficult job, but it is also a dangerous job. Maybe not as dangerous as working in a mine, but it's still bad. Working on an oil rig is way more dangerous. Yeah, of course. Yeah. I am older than 42. And I memorize things because I've said them so much. I've said them many, many times. I see the differences, but some teachers insist that teaching is a demanding job, even more demanding than some laborers like mechanics. Well, Roman, I'm going to have to say that I do kind of agree with that statement. Okay? If you have to tell me who has a more difficult job, a high school English teacher or history teacher or a mechanic, I will absolutely say a high school English or history teacher is a harder job than being a mechanic. When you're a mechanic, you work with things. Things are not alive, so therefore fixing them is usually a very scientific process of elimination and not that difficult. When you're a teacher, you're dealing with living things, and these things are mutable, which means they constantly are changing or able to change. And every one of them is different. So when you're a mechanic and you work on Ford cars all the time, you know how to work on Ford cars because you see them all the time and they're all the same. But every single kid in your classroom is different. It's a different model of car. Can you imagine trying to work on cars if every single car was a different company? So, yeah, I'm going to tell you that I do think that being a teacher is much harder than being a mechanic. There are times when I have thought I would rather be a mechanic because at least when you go to your job, when you're a mechanic, you have a broken engine. What needs to be fixed? Oh, that's broken. Let's fix it. You know what the problem is. You know how to fix it. But when you're a teacher, there's an art to being a teacher because it's different for every single teacher. Yeah. Okay, what's the most underrated skill that can change someone's life? Listening. Listening. That's the most underrated skill that can change someone's life. What do I teach? I teach English and music. Drums. Unless you're a teacher with a mechanics shop side hustle, or unless you're a teacher who teaches auto mechanics, maybe, that's both, right? If you're a teacher who teaches auto mechanics, then you have both to deal with. The psychology of human children and adults who are learning and are all uniquely different and challenged in different ways or talented in different ways, and dealing with different static, tangible, mechanical things that must be fixed. Anna, I am not married. I do not have any kids. You're scared of what region? Thank you, Sayoma. Hello, Saeed. Coping with a situation where emotions or feelings involved is absolutely tough. That's right. Yeah, especially children. And their emotions and feelings are they're all over the place. Yeah. It's hard being a kid. It's hard being a kid. All right. Can a teacher show negative emotions towards students? Yeah, a teacher is a human. It happens. There are times when teachers lose their control of their emotions. It's not a good thing to do regularly, but I'm a human being. It's possible to make me mad. You know, it has happened. I have lost control a few times with my students in class. Maybe, you know, not too bad, but I have certainly displayed negative emotions. Sure. Now that we have AI, and AI is going to replace a lot of teachers, AI won't care. So AI won't, you know, doesn't have the, it doesn't need to show negative emotions because it doesn't need to have emotions, right? Hello, Tomas. You came across a new word, to vent. Yeah, that's a good one. Venting, meaning to discuss or to talk about your problems. To vent. Being a surgeon, that's a big responsibility. I agree. Yeah. However, you know what we say? When you're a doctor, you... so, you know, engineers, they make bridges and computers, right? And doctors, they take care of sicknesses, right? And whatever. And construction workers, they build houses. They make houses, right? But teachers, I do all those things. Because a teacher makes the guy who builds the houses. The teacher makes the guy who becomes the surgeon. The teacher makes the girl who becomes the whatever, engineer, lawyer. So teachers are responsible for making the surgeons, right? Carolina, Clay is not here today because the weather is still too bad. The weather is still too bad. Yeah. My friend said self-improvement is self-destruction. Your friend is wrong. Your friend is desperately trying to sound smart. That's a stupid thing to say. Self-improvement is self-destruction. Self-improvement is evolution. If you don't want to evolve, that's fine. That's how evolution works. You don't have to evolve, but you won't keep going if you don't. So, self-improvement is part of evolution. Do I agree that teachers should be paid one of the highest salaries compared to other jobs because investing in teachers means building the future? I do think that teachers should be paid a lot more than they are, but I also think that the process of teaching itself needs to have a serious overhaul, a change, right? So, teaching is a job kind of like being a doctor. You shouldn't do it if you don't care. And there are people who do. There are teachers who do it because it's a job, and it's a good job that's steady and it pays well, but they don't really care. Okay, we all know. We have all had at least one teacher that we felt like didn't really care about the kids or the students. They just were there for the job. Okay, that shouldn't exist. Being a teacher is a job that requires you to care. But yes, I do think that that teachers should be paid significantly more, and teachers should have other benefits in life. There should be a, you know, many years ago there was a respect for teachers. You know, you would invite your teacher to your house for dinner, right? Because you respected them and you wanted them in your house. It was an honor to have the teacher come to your house for dinner, right? But today, there's just so little respect for teachers. Good ones, especially. Especially when your students are hormones filled with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Exactly, right. I called myself an ugly person. I didn't say I mean, you know, look, odd. I think I'm a good-looking guy to some people. I think there are some people in this world who think I'm very handsome. And I think there are some people in this world who think I'm ugly and fat and old. And they're right. They're both right. They're both right. I'm both handsome and ugly, fat, and old. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. In school, we learned Treasure Island for 12th grade, and we had to remember every single detail. What's the best way to remember? Well, just don't do that. That's not the way Treasure Island should be read. Treasure Island is not a book for memorizing. It's a book for enjoying. Just enjoy it. Read it. Okay? Yes, I invite people. I do. I have talked to some people. I am also trying to answer questions. So please be patient. Teaching is something like an art, not a job. I agree. Teacher is the engineer of the human soul. Again, teachers are an important part of engineering the human soul, sure. In some countries, including mine, teachers are not looked upon as valuable people. They don't receive the appreciation they deserve. Same as mine, yeah. And being a teacher is hard. You will feel exhaustion. What do I think are the very important things for learning English well? For example, phonetics, symbols, vocabulary, grammar, and listening. So for children, basic children, phonics absolutely is crucial. Phonics is crucial, okay, for babies, okay? But once you get past the baby level of English, then reading, writing, listening, speaking, thinking, vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. Those are the 8 important things for learning English well. And reading, writing, listening, speaking, thinking, most important, thinking, grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. I teach Chinese. I know that Chinese pinyin tones and vocabulary are very important. At the intermediate and advanced levels, grammar is crucial. Since there are both British and American accents in IELTS listening, are there any good ways to deal with this? No, and that's just an unfair part of the IELTS test. If you're going to tell people to learn English, there should be an American English test and there should be a British English test, and you should choose the one that you want to take. It is totally unfair to make people take a test that has both British and American pronunciation. That's BS, in my opinion. To score 7 or 8, do you think you should start with vocabulary? Vocabulary is certainly important for an advanced score. Yeah. Thank you, Belen. Do I like kids teacher? Who? Which kid? Who am I talking about? Which teacher? Okay, let's see what Salmon wants to say to me. Salmon from, is that Yemen? I think that's Yemen. It's too small. I can't tell if it's Yemen or Egypt. I think it's Yemen. Salmon from Yemen, would you want to come talk to me?
Yes, this is me.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. And you?
I'm not bad. Not bad. So you're in Yemen? Oh, you muted your microphone. I can't hear you. There we go.
Yes.
Okay. And you're in what city in Yemen?
It's in Yemen. I don't want to
Oh,
say.
okay. All right. You don't have to. All right. I just try to learn geography that way. I like to talk to people around the world, and then they tell me where they're from, and it helps me learn. You know, that's all.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
So what do you know about Yemen?
I know where it is. I know it's, what is it, southeast of Saudi Arabia. I know that you guys have had lots and lots of fighting and civil wars with them for quite a while. What else do I know about Yemen? If I remember right, what is it? Let me think. What is that city? Wait a minute. Let me look up something to
Sana'a, maybe? Sana'a?
not Sana, no. Let me see. There's a city that I remember a fact about. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, the word mocha, M-O-C-H, mocha, like mocha coffee, right? That comes from Yemen. There's a city in Yemen called Mocha or Muka. It's a port city in the Red Sea coast of Yemen. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I will tell you about Mocha.
Okay.
It's yes, it's an area in Yemen. It's very important, but it is the famous. It is old, and it's the first area in the world that stores coffee. For
Right.
others
That's
the
right.
world.
Yeah. So
Yes. In
coffee
Yemen here,
coffee
you
comes
can-
from
you can
Ethiopia.
find- yes, yes.
Yeah.
You can find the best kind of coffee ever.
Right.
But it's old. Yes.
Right,
It's
so-
old, but now it's not.
That's what I love history. So that's what I know about Yemen is a
Yes,
little bit
it's
about the
about
history.
history. It's
So
about history, yes.
coffee comes from Ethiopia originally. That's where coffee originally comes from. There's a place in Ethiopia called the Kafé region of that area. That's where it originally comes from. But Yemen was one of the most important countries for exporting coffee to the world through the port of Mocha. And so, yeah,
Yes.
there's a big history there with coffee. So that's what I know.
Yes.
I know a little bit.
Yes. Okay. Read more about Yemen. It's
Sure.
very amazing.
I would love
actually.
to.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
If you
there's
want to
a
send
lot
me
of
anything,
people
that's
here
great.
in Yemen would like to learn English and connect with the other people from the world, and that's it.
Sure.
They would
I've
like
talked to
to
some
improve
people from
themselves.
Yemen before.
Yes, there's a lot of tourism here in Yemen. You can
Oh, really?
visit a lot of very, very amazing places. Like we have an island called Socotra. It's very, very amazing, and there's a lot nature. It's great there.
But I will correct you one thing. Oh, no. We lost her. What happened? Salmon, what happened? You said the word Iceland, and the pronunciation is island. The S is a silent letter, okay? So, yes, the island. But, yeah, I don't know. Maybe she ran out of time? What happened? That was unfortunate. It was nice talking to her. Okay, one moment. Let me read a couple more comments. Let's see. Could I walk you through teacher safety at U.S. schools because shooting includes ramp? Roman, teacher safety is something that I can't really tell you about because we don't really have a plan for that yet. We're trying to figure it out still, right? So every state in the United States, we have 50 states, and every state has different rules and laws about both guns and shootings and all of that stuff. So every state is different, and we don't have one plan for anything. Yeah. Amir says, I have a weak memory for memorizing words that I've studied. How can I improve this problem? Stop memorizing. Memorizing is a stupid way to learn. Find a better way to learn the words. Memorizing is just a lazy way to learn. That's why it doesn't work. So find a more engaging way to learn, and you will remember. Okay? Memorizing doesn't work because it's boring. Your brain will forget anything boring. Find a way to make your learning interesting, and you won't forget it. Okay? How important is it to learn about the psychology of mind to understand people? It's pretty important. It's pretty important. Thank you, Anne. Take care. Are teachers allowed to carry guns and to protect themselves? No, not yet, but maybe there will be some who will in some places, maybe. But we're still arguing about it now. The majority of people do not want that. Okay, I do not want that. All right, okay, let's talk to Tram. Tram from Vietnam wanted to talk to me. Tram, do you want to come talk to me? Tram, are you there? Let's try one more time. Tram, hello, Tram. Come to my stage if you would like to. You're welcome, Roman. Guys, I would rather not talk about guns. It's just not a fun topic to talk about, and it does get political. So I would rather not talk about it. But I'll just tell you, I don't like them. I don't like them, and I don't want them. And I don't want them in schools, certainly. Okay? But that is a dark and complicated topic. Okay? Guns and school shootings and all that stuff is a very complicated and dark topic. All right? Tram, hello, Tram. I'm trying one more time, Tram. Come talk to me, Tram. You opened a can of worms. Yeah, well, it happens. That's okay. It's just, like I said, Hello Talk, we're not allowed to talk about politics or religion here. And that topic definitely is pretty much impossible to talk about without discussing a lot of politics. Okay? I know you guys want to understand it, and I wish I could explain it to you. But even if I could explain it to you, which I can't really, I can't explain the nature of guns in this country, really. But even if I could, it would take me a week. It would take me a week of many hours and hours and hours of talking for you to understand my knowledge of why we do it and why we have it. Okay? Anybody else want to come talk with me? How about, who is this? Amir? In Egypt? Raise your hand if you want to come talk to me. Briefly. Amir? Hello, Amir?
Hello, my friend. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. What about you?
I can't complain. So you're in Egypt.
Okay.
Are you in Cairo or Alexandria or where?
In Giza.
In Giza,
I'm living
okay.
beside pyramids.
Okay. Oh, wow. Cool. All right.
Yes,
So what can I do for you today? How can I help you?
I'm just asking about how can I improve my English. So I couldn't memorize a lot of words during my conversation. I have been learning English a couple of years ago. So I gotten some like a website. It's called BBC, provided by British English. So it's like a cool website. I have studied many topics. They are providing us a lot of expressions, but actually during my studying these words, I cannot memorize a lot of words during my conversation. So it just feels that as I have a lot of expressions, a lot of words, but I cannot pronounce it. I cannot explain it during my conversation with anyone looking in English, like in foreign or something like that.
Okay.
So I just ask about how can I improve it, because I don't find any another way to practice English, because we are like as you know that you are a Arabian country, that we don't have any foreigners surrounding us, so I cannot immerse myself in English just like in chatting, just like in conversation with someone like you, so like a teacher like you. So what's going on?
Okay.
How can I improve my English?
So here's the first thing I'll tell you is what I said in the chat was you
Yes.
should not you shouldn't
been listening to
memorize.
you.
Yeah, memorizing is just a terrible way to learn. That's why everybody asks me this question. The same question you have. They all say the same thing. I try to memorize words, but then I forget them. How can I memorize words better? But you're asking the wrong question. The question you should be asking is not how can I memorize better? The question you should be asking is why doesn't memorizing work? Why does it not work? It doesn't work because it's boring, it's dry, and it's a very short amount of time. So let me ask you a question, Amir. If I were walking down the street, I'm in Giza, and you're in Giza, and you see me, but I'm dressed in normal clothes, and you just walk by me, and you don't say hi or anything, you just see me. Are you going to remember me tomorrow? No.
Definitely no.
If you walk down the street and you wave to me and I wave back, maybe you'll remember me tomorrow, but you won't remember me next week. If you walk down the street and you wave to me and you introduce yourself to me and you say, hello, my name is Amir, nice to meet you, will you remember me next month? Probably. Maybe not next year, though. But if you go out to lunch with me, will you remember me next year?
Sure.
Right. So people and words are the same. The more time you spend with them, the more likely you will remember them.
Okay, so but as I told you before, that we are like an Arabian country.
Yeah, so you can't speak.
We don't have
right.
a lot of foreigners to
Yeah.
immerse myself
So
with
that's
foreigners.
step two. Step two in my answer is it doesn't matter where you live or what language they speak there. What does matter is what language you think where you live. So, for example, what language do they speak on the moon? If you go to the moon, what language is spoken on the moon? Is there a moon language?
know.
No, there's not.
No.
Right. So that means everybody who goes to the moon, whatever language they use is the language in their mind, right? It's the language they're thinking, right? So I live in the United States, Amir, but I can practice Chinese language anytime I want. All I need to do is live my day the way I normally do, but live it in Chinese. So I think everything in Chinese all day as much as I can. That's why I can practice
Excuse me,
Chinese.
excuse me, I have an opinion in this topic, because you are right, totally right. Okay, I totally agree with you, but actually we are not interacting with foreigners. So if you are living with the Chinese people, it's not
Yeah, of course it's
definitely
better.
is
Of
you
course
are
it's
living
better.
alone
Yeah.
and practice. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay,
That's what
but
I'm talking
Amir,
about.
but Amir, that's why I always thought this was funny advice, right? Because the advice that you're giving is what you are saying is this. You're saying if you can afford to move to a country where they speak the language you're learning, then that's better. That's great. Of course, that's true. But who can afford to move to another country just to learn a language? Nobody, right?
Nobody,
So,
sure.
so that's why it's silly advice. It's true that if you come to the United States, or if you come to Canada, or if you come to the UK, yes, you will be able to learn better because you have a full immersive environment. But most people cannot do that, but they can just change the language they think in wherever they live. Right? So that's the secret is I know it would be better if you come to the United States. Of course, that's true, but nobody can afford that.
For sure.
But you absolutely can afford to just start thinking in English tomorrow, wherever you live. Okay? So put it this way. If you practice English every day, how much do you practice English every day? An hour? 2 hours? How much?
3 hours and a half.
Okay, that's good. That's amazing. That's a lot of practice. 3.5 hours every day, that's a lot of practice. But if you learn how to think in English every day, then you can think in English when you're eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can think in English when you're getting dressed and taking a shower in the morning. You can think in English when you go to the grocery store. You can think in English when you're watching TV and movies. How many hours will you be able to practice if you learn how to think in English? A lot.
So, just what I understand from your speech is that you are going to advise me to like and adapt my brain in another mood to install like an Windows. That you're going to install this Windows.
That's exactly
into
right.
your
That's
brain
exactly right. Yeah.
to think in English.
That's right, man. Look, what you just said to install, it's the same thing as your computer, right? With your phone, in your phone right now, your phone is Arabic, but you can change it to English if you want to, can't you? Right?
Sure.
I could change my phone to Arabic, and it would be really hard. All of a sudden tomorrow I'd be like, "Oh no, I don't know how to use my phone. It's all Arabic." But it would make me learn, wouldn't it? It would make me learn. Same thing is true about your mind. If you force your mind to change programs, right? from the old Windows to the new Windows, or you change to a different operating system, or you change the language of your computer, then yes, you can practice a lot more. That's the cheapest way to immerse yourself without having to move anywhere. The cheapest way to immerse yourself without moving is just to learn how to think and start doing it all the time. Okay? So if I'm watching TV, I can watch TV and
Yes.
enjoy myself. But I can watch TV and enjoy myself, but think about it in Chinese to practice my Chinese. If I go to the grocery store because I need to buy some food, okay, I need to go to the grocery store, I need to buy some food. Why not do it in Chinese? Just think in Chinese the whole time. So that's what I do.
Okay, I got.
Yeah.
Yes, I got your point. I got your point.
That's the secret
that
of my
like
that's the
an-
secret of my method. Okay, is that thinking is where language begins. So if you don't have strong thinking, you can't have strong speaking.
Totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. But the main issue in Arab countries we have been learning English through like 20 years ago when I was young. I was learning English from my teacher, but actually when I grew up, I just said suddenly that all English that I have studied is totally wrong. Is totally bad, and the pronunciation is too very wrong. When I started to practice in English, started to see a language and English movies, American movies, so I just recognized and realized that in all English that I have studied is totally wrong. So I
Well-
have to erase all of this English and install the English in like in a clear land into my brain. If you got my
Okay,
point.
I know your point. I understand what you mean. However, I want to change a little bit of what you said. You're right. The language you learn in school is different than the language of Hollywood movies. Hollywood movies
Yeah,
and TV
that's true.
shows have what we call common English. Common English is different than proper English. Okay? But I think, in my opinion, as a teacher, you must learn you must learn proper English first before you learn common English. If you want to learn common English, then you have to know proper English first. Okay? So, common English, what's the difference between common English and proper English? Here's the difference. Hello, my name is Mark. Nice to meet you. That's proper English. Common English? Sup.
Okay.
Okay, common English is just sup. Sup,
I
man.
got it.
You
I
know?
got it.
Proper English, hello, nice to meet you. My name is
Okay.
Mark. Okay? So, now here's the thing. Common English, you cannot use common English everywhere. You can only use common English where it's okay to use common English. So, if you come into my classroom, you shouldn't use common English in my classroom. You should use proper English. If you want to talk to the doctor, you should use proper English. If you are maybe you're a lawyer, should you use common English to talk to your clients? No, you should use proper English to make sure everything is proper and clear, right? So common English is only useful in some places, but proper English works everywhere.
That's right, because we all need an common English and proper English during our work and during daily life, because we are working in Egypt like in multinational companies that we need to practice our English with foreigners to understand them and communicate with them just to make our work is done. To be honestly,
Right.
I
So
have-
again, common English is different. Common English is what we call colloquial. Okay, colloquial is a big word that means like localized. It's local. It's the regional. It means that there are certain ways that we say things here that are different. For example, in my city, I live in the Midwest. And in the Midwest and the South in America, sometimes when we say hello, we say howdy. Howdy, hello. It means how are you doing? Howdy, okay? But if you go to New York City, do they say howdy in New York City? No. That's a local thing. It's colloquial. It's regional, right?
Okay.
So, again, I don't say howdy all the time. if I go into a store and it's a local store and I'm just trying to buy, I don't know, maybe I'm buying a book, okay?
Okay.
Maybe I go into the bookstore, I will say, oh, howdy, okay? But if I'm going to meet my professor to discuss my homework, do I walk into the professor's office and say howdy? No.
Okay.
No, I say,
Sure.
hello, sir. I'm nice to see you. Ah, we lost Amir. Must have been the time limit again. Okay, so the point that I was trying to make is that many people feel the way Amir does. That when you listen to YouTube or you watch movies, you think, wait a minute, that doesn't sound like the English I learned in my books. You're right, it's not. But that doesn't mean that the English you learned in your books is bad English. What that means is movies are not meant to teach you anything. Movies are not meant to teach you about language. Movies are not meant for any kind of educational purpose. They are meant for entertainment. Okay? And they are representative of whatever language is in the story. So, for example, if you watch the movie, what's that movie called? Wait a minute, let me think of it. If you watch the movie Dead Poets Society, Dead Poets Society is a movie, but almost all the English in that movie is proper English. Why? Because the movie is about kids in a school studying English. Literature. So, of course, the language is proper. But if you watch 8 Mile about Eminem, that language is local language. It's colloquial language. It's regional language to Detroit. It's cultural language. It's not standardized, proper language. Okay? Doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't mean it's bad. It means it's different. Okay? It's region. It's local. Okay? But I still think proper English is the thing you should be focused on trying to learn. Okay? I really think that if you have proper English, language is power. If you have good language, people will listen to you. That's power. So, knowing how to use words well is powerful. Now, here's one thing I will say is that, for example, Eminem is a perfect example of this. Eminem is a brilliant wordsmith. He is a poet of the highest order, in my opinion. Why? Because he does. That's what rap is. It's poetry. It's a different kind of poetry, but it's poetry. And man, he's fast. And he's brilliant in both his ability to rhyme and his ability to metaphorically tell a story, or literally sometimes. But even Eminem, he knows that there's one way that you speak when you go to the bank, and there's another way that you speak when you go to your friend's house. That's the power of language. Okay? It's like having a key. Okay? Okay? That's the better way to look at it. Language is like having a key. Local language will only open local doors. Okay? Proper language is a key that will open many, many doors. Okay? That's a better way to put it. Local language only opens local doors. Okay? But proper language can open doors almost anywhere. Okay? All right. Let me make sure I'm not missing any important comments. Colloquials are not fixed. They vary from region to region, and most of them get expired after a while. That's true. Right, yeah. Or I will say many of them. Oh, I look like Christopher Nolan now. Okay. All right. Movies are imaginary. Mostly, yeah. Okay. What about the movie Titanic? You know what? I can't answer that question because I have never seen the movie Titanic. I've never wanted to see the movie Titanic, so I don't know. Take care, Belen. Good to see you. Bye-bye. Dead Poet Society. Yes, a great movie with Robin Williams. Right time and right place. That's right. Money is power in today's world. Yes, but if you have two people and they both have money and one is really good with speaking and with words and the other one is not, who's going to have more power? They both have the same amount of money, but one guy is really good with words and the other guy's not. Who's going to have more power? Hamant, words are power. Language is power. Okay? Shakespeare, nah. Eminem and Tupac, yeah. Well, I would think, to be honest with you, Shakespeare, I'm pretty sure Shakespeare would like both Eminem and Tupac. And I'm absolutely positive that Eminem and Tupac both like Shakespeare. I'm certain of it. Okay? Your team MGK, but Eminem is the GOAT. I'll be honest with you. I'm not a big Machine Gun Kelly fan. When I first heard about him, I thought he was interesting. Now I kind of think he's just a douche. First of all, he's taken the nickname too far. There are some people who, when they get a nickname, it's brilliant. And there are some people, when they get a nickname, it's a bit childish. And you can only have the nickname Machine Gun Kelly for so long before people think you're just childish. Grow up, man. Grow up. Call yourself a real name. And also, in the world of nicknames, nicknames are not chosen. Nicknames are given. Right? Your friends and your family give you your nickname. You don't look up a book and choose your nickname and tell everybody that that's what you should call you. No. That's not how it works. But that's what he did. He said, oh, my new name is Machine Gun Kelly, so you should call me Machine Gun Kelly. No, I think I'll call you Mike or whatever your real name is. Tupac for life. I'm an old school fan too, Abby, but I'm much more old school than you. I'm Run DMC for life. Now I look like Sydney Sweeney. I don't even know who Sydney Sweeney is. Hello, Joseph. Thank you, Sebastian. You just watched Dead Poet Society. I saved tears by not watching Titanic. I can't cry about a movie that I already know the ending to. They get on the boat sinks. I don't understand why everybody thought it was such a great movie. You already know what happens. What do I think about Shakespeare's plays, which are used in many language schools to teach English? I think Shakespeare's plays are brilliant. I love Shakespeare. To thine own self be true, this above all. It's one of my it is my favorite quote. That is my favorite quote in life. It's a Shakespearean quote. To thine own self be true, this above all. Okay? I love Shakespeare. Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Right? It is the east and Juliet is the sun. How can he pull a Megan Fox? Yeah, but the truth is, Abby, I'm not even attracted to Megan Fox. Like, Megan Fox is in the same category as Kim Kardashian, in my opinion. If you are a beauty but you have no brains, then you have no beauty to me. And I can't imagine having a brilliant conversation with either Kim Kardashian or Megan Fox. No offense, maybe I'm wrong, but if you don't have anything up here, then I don't care what you have over here. You heard that men that can speak well are more successful with women. Probably that's true, but I think it probably works the other way too. I think women who are good with words are probably more successful with men. That just means that people who are good with words know how to make connections with people better. Shakespeare's English is obsolete. Should people still read it to learn English? You should not read it to learn English. You definitely should not learn it to read it to learn English. You should read it to appreciate what it is. You should read it to appreciate the poetry and the brilliance of what it is. But no, you should not read Shakespeare for the purposes of learning modern English. I have not seen Jennifer's Body. I don't know what that is. Don't be so emotional. Who's being emotional? But Kim Kardashian is actually smart, though. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I've seen her show a few times, and I've tried to give her a chance, but I have not. That has not been my impression, Abby. I think that how do I express this? Pressure is crucial for creating diamonds. Without pressure, you can't create a real diamond. Pressure is also very important in creating humans. If you have no pressure, you can't really create a good human. And rich people don't have any pressure. When you're really rich, you don't have pressure. So that means you have nothing that's actually driving you to become a better person. Yeah. So, no offense, I'm sorry, but I'm not a big fan of the Kardashians. I'm not a big fan of people like Megan Fox. See how she leans her cheek upon that hand. Oh, that I were a glove upon that hand, that I might touch that cheek. Good, Hamant. Yeah. She may act like she's dumb, but that's only for the show. Yeah, but what does that say about your personality if you think it's a good idea to act dumb for a TV show? That tells me that your personality is extremely broken. Oh, that's the nicest word I can use, broken. Most celebrities are very dumb, and they only have a physical appearance, or they don't even have that, and they still make so much money for some reason. Sebastian, I would say many, maybe not most, many, but there are some celebrities who recognize how lucky they are in life, and they do seem to spend their lives attempting to use their good fortune in entertainment to improve themselves as people. Not all of them, but some of them. Time management is really important. Sure. Why tonight are people so emotional? Maybe I should start a TV show. I don't know. Anyway, guess what, guys? I have been here for 2 hours and 49 minutes and 42 seconds. It's probably time for me to go and take a break. So, Noor, I'm so sorry. I don't have time today. I don't have time. I've been here for almost 3 hours. I need a break. But, yeah. But you can follow me, and you can go watch my YouTube channel if you want more tips Okay, go watch my YouTube channel. I have many, many, many streams just like this one on my YouTube channel, and you can watch and get lots of tips about English. Okay? All right. Anyway. Thank you, Mushtaq. You have a Kit Kat. Yum, give me some. I like Kit Kat. Thank you, Q47. Am I going to teach us fancy new words? Today, no. I'm already done for today, but I have been thinking about that, and I think I'm going to do an advanced vocabulary session next week. Maybe some GRE level words, like master's degree level English. Okay, so if you want something more advanced, then follow me and come see me next week. Okay? All right, thank you guys for following. Thank you for watching. Thank you for participating. Have a good morning. Have a good afternoon. Have a good evening wherever you live in the world. And remember that learning is not an act of efficiency. Learning is an act of proficiency. Okay? Big difference. All right, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.